happy to sometimes lose deals to a better buyer that helps set a better market for my deal.
One of the things we have to do in our seat is diligence to make sure that it's a well underwritten offer, that we have confidence in the underwriting, but also, again, like I said, the surety of close. Those conversations, right, even if we don't ultimately end up in a deal together because the pricing wasn't there, I have full knowledge that you guys have spent the time and you understand the asset well, and you've thought about any of the nuances that we want to make sure that you're thinking about, that we don't want to be a due diligence item, we want it to be a now item, and that everybody understands with eyes wide open the asset that we're contemplating transacting on together.
So a great example is there's a deal that we were looking at together with you, and we had made an initial offer, and you kind of pressed me on our debt assumptions and how do we actually talk to a physical lender on that deal. And I thought that was great because honestly I was very comfortable with our number. And what I really like about that is that when we go to sell, I want my broker doing that diligent, right? And you kind of called me on it. I went out, talked to some lenders. We ended up kind of moving away from that deal. But at the end of the day, it was proving what your side on the fiduciary is to do and what we would value as we go to sell, which is diligencing the buyer, making sure they're going to be able to come true on the number, and also finding the buyer who's willing to pay top dollar. Yep. Right? I don't mind losing to a group who actually comes through. If they outbid us and they close the deal, fair is fair. Right? And it's kudos to the broker for finding that buyer, putting that transaction together, because I know I need that on the back end, right? So, I'm happy to sometimes lose deals to a better buyer that helps set a better market for my deal.
It's a dynamic debt environment, no doubt. And your ability to acquire and finance assets speaks to the confidence that you're able to instill not only in your sellers, right, because they're selling the asset, but the lenders that you work with. And building those lending relationships, it's super important today. And on that specific asset, and I remember that conversation, it was a productive conversation, and I'm glad we had it. And absolutely. When you hire us to sell your portfolio one day, we're going to be putting every buyer through that same ringer that you might feel we put you through.